Bada bing, bada boom. So if you're like me and you can't make up your mind between the new M4 iPad Pro 13-inch or the new M4 iPad Pro 11-inch, or perhaps you can't choose between the standard glass screen or maybe the new Nanotech screen, well, my friends, you are in the right place. Holding the brand new iPad Pros in my hands for the first time was definitely a shock. And what shocked me was how super light these iPads are. I'm not even joking. In fact, Apple shaved off almost 100 grams of weight from the 13-inch iPad Pro. You can actually feel the weight difference between these two iPads. Absolutely insane. I even compared the previous generation iPad Pro 13-inch to the new iPad Pro 13-inch. You tell me what you guys think. Can you see the difference in thinness? The answer is yes. You can clearly see the new iPad Pro is absolutely and incredibly thin. The thinnest device that Apple has ever made, with the exception of, I don't know, the Apple Card and the screen cleaning cloth thing. Absolutely amazing engineering and very, very premium when you hold it in your hand. And also I can see 4 speaker grills and they sound absolutely fantastic. Obviously at the bottom here is the USB-C port with a Thunderbolt, so you can plug into your computer screen. And of course the new camera module on the back as well, with a wide camera missing as reported in my previous video. But it looks so much nicer when you see it in the flesh as well. It's not so protruding. Alright, so the iPad Pros, the 11 and 13-inch. So basically the biggest difference between the two is obviously the screen size. One is 11-inch, one is 13. The 2 inches may not be significant to you at this moment in time, but let me explain to you why it's very significant. One, the 13-inch iPad Pro is actually a 4:3 aspect ratio. So it's a bit more squarer than the 11-inch. This also means you get almost 30% more screen real estate. Obviously when you're editing Final Cut Pro, sometimes you have multiple layers of tracks. You're gonna see more of these tracks on the 13-inch than you would on the 11-inch because you have more space to work with. So if you need to use multiple apps simultaneously or need to see more of your tracks when you're editing, and if a big screen is important to you, then maybe the 13-inch probably makes more sense. Trying to open the iPad Pro Magic keyboard with the one hand with the iPad Pro 13-inch in it was definitely a tricky experience. It was definitely a lot more difficult to do that than I had imagined. You need a minimum of 2 hands. So yeah, let's talk about the brand new arrangement of the Facetime camera. Moving the camera from the portrait side to the horizontal side is absolutely fantastic. The correct place where it should have been from the beginning. Why is this? That is because for the first time on an iPad, you can now make eye contact with someone that you're speaking to either on Zoom or on Facetime because the camera is now in the right place as opposed to being on the side. Instead of looking like this at the person you're talking to, you're not looking like this. I can't believe it took Apple this long to make this much needed change. There is a slight difference though. So if you got 6 chins, then I guess the 13-inch iPad Pro will give you a more flattering FaceTime experience. The angle is slightly better, it's more flattering. 13-inch iPad Pro, because it's slightly higher, a 4:3 aspect ratio, the camera is a little bit higher, it's a little bit more flattering than the 11-inch. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Or just raise your 11-inch a little bit higher to get a much more flattering image. Alright, so let's talk about screens. You may have remembered my previous video that I said if I was to buy the new iPad Pros, I'll probably go with a standard screen instead of the new Nanotech screen. Initially I was like, nah, I don't need it. I'm gonna stick with a standard reflective as hell option. After some hands-on time with a brand new Nanotech screen and the standard screen, I have slightly changed my mind. To put your mind at ease, I compared the screens side by side. The new Nanotech option eliminates all kinds of glare and reflections. You could clearly see the reflection of the spotlights on the standard screen, but you don't see the same effect on the Nanotech screen. It felt like reading on paper. I can imagine this looking absolutely fantastic outside in the sunshine as well. So were the colors the same from different angles? No. Were the blacks inky black? No, but do I really care? I mean, it still looked good. It wasn't like a huge difference. I still don't care. I mean, it still looks good on the Nano texture, and it was just beautiful. I can see this being a very, very useful device to use outside on sunny days. So the Nano texture screen in the UK is, I think, is a £100 upgrade option. Whew, $100 in America. So I thought, you know what? Let me write on the screen with an Apple Pencil. I wanted to see if I could feel a difference between the standard glass and also the Nano texture. And I'm pleased to say there's definitely a difference in resistance when you're writing on the screen, on the Nano texture screen with the Apple Pencil. It felt more like, I don't want to say paper, but there was definitely a different feel to the smoothness of the normal glass. And I preferred writing and drawing on the Nano texture screen than I did on the standard screen. It just felt good. So one other observation that I had with Nano texture was it was not as fingerprinty as the standard glass option. I mean, that was very, very cool. No one likes seeing fingerprints on the screen of the iPads. The Nano texture helps reduce that quite a lot. Alright, so talking about writing, let's talk about the Apple Pencil. The Apple Pencil pretty much looks exactly the same as every other Apple Pencil that came before. The only difference you're going to see from the outside is the fact that the new Apple Pencil has Apple Pencil Pro written on the end, on the side of it. That's the only way you're going to see it from the outside. Obviously on the inside, a lot of things have changed. For example, you now have a squeeze feature, which I used, and it was very, very strange the first time I experienced it. It felt like the pencil was deforming between my fingers. It was like you were literally squidgily squeezing the pencil, but we all know you're not really squeezing the pencil. It was in fact the haptic or the taptic motor in at the top of the pencil that was simulating the feeling of a squeeze. The one thing I forgot to test was the new rotation option. God damn it. I love how it feels in the hand. It's just it has the right kind of weight to it, which is really, really nice to work with. Those new Magic keyboards are absolutely beautiful, and those keys feel so nice when you type on them. They feel more like MacBook Pros. Those things are made of aluminum. They feel very premium in the hand. The trackpad, whew, it's a lot larger now, and also it's got haptic feedback now because it's got a haptic motor in there now. So when you press the actual trackpad, it does not deform like on cantilevers anymore. It basically has a motor that simulates the cantilever effect. It's so nice to use and it just feels right. On the 11-inch, some of the keys are slightly smaller, so if you love typing, you can still type, but I think it'll be way easier to type on the 13-inch because you literally get a full-size keyboard. So there's that. So I would say the function keys, the larger trackpad, the haptic feedback, and the fact that it's made of aluminum, this is a very, very welcome addition to the Magic Keyboard. Alright, so after all that, so which iPad should you get? That's a very tricky question. So I would say if you already have a MacBook Pro or another computer, if you got to get the Pro, the 11-inch is probably the iPad for most people. One, it is small, it's portable. You can do serious work, especially if you have the Apple Pencil and keyboard. And if you love to read, oh my gosh, it's a perfect form factor because it's just small enough for you to be able to throw it in your bag and take it anywhere. And if you went for the Nano texture option, lends itself perfectly to someone who just loves to read books and of course magazines. But if you need an iPad Pro to be your main device, then I'll probably lean towards going for the 13-inch option. Obviously that's going to depend on what you do, but if you need screen real estate and if you do spreadsheets for example, then I would say definitely the 13-inch version. Bigger screen, this thing is thin as hell. With a full-size Magic Keyboard, you can do serious work. That screen, oh my gosh, you get 30% more screen real estate than on an 11-inch. And if you went with the Nano texture option, you can literally work anywhere, outside on sunny days, or work inside if you need to. And of course, if you care about how you look during Zoom phone calls or like a FaceTime, then the 13-inch all the way because it's got a more flattering camera angle. Saying that, you can always raise your 11-inch iPad Pro to give a more pleasing angle, but you get that for free with a 13-inch iPad Pro. Okay, so I hope my quick hands-on experience with the brand new iPad Pros at the Apple Store has helped you make a more informed decision on the purchase of your brand new iPad Pro.
It's Rawkustv, Tech and HD, M4 iPad Pro, that's the life of me. 11-inch, 13-inch screen so clean. Nano texture screen, you know what I mean. Step up in the spot, got my M4 in hand. I iPad Pro, crazy thin, sleekest in the land. From the classroom to the boardroom, can't be beat. Apple Pencil Pro, making